In this video, you'll learn the benefits of watermelons, how to prep it, how to quarter it, how to store it, and share it. Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in the struggle, Brother Minister Alif, and I'm in the kitchen, and today we're going to show you how to prep or prepare a seeded watermelon. Now, a watermelon can sit around for like a good solid 2 weeks. Just keep it in a cool, dry place. I intentionally let this one sit because I wanted the juices to build up in there. We could have ate this as soon as we got it. It would have had less flavor, but we let it marinate within itself. And we're going to get those natural nutrients and sugars and vitamins and minerals inside of the body temple, inshallah, King. All right, let's get a knife. It's easy to cut with a serrated knife. I just like a larger knife because it's a larger melon, so I'm gonna go ahead and use a stainless steel one. First thing you want to do is just simply rinse off the melon. Some farms use pesticides. We got this from a local farm in Pennsylvania, so I'm really not worried about the pesticides. And the skin of the watermelon is so thick that it helps protect the fruit on the inside. The watermelon was originally grafted by a black man god known as Imhotep in ancient Kemet or Black Egypt. It's a rare fruit because it has two seeds. You know, like a strawberry is a hybrid because it has the seeds on the outside. The watermelon has a black seed on the inside and a white seed on the inside because it comes from the cucumber and the gourd, our cucumber and the melon. And those two fruits are fused into one, and it's a super hydrating medicine. Okay, let's get into this. Let me rinse it off. Okay, you want to rinse it off with cold water, not hot water. You don't want to heat it up or cook it in any form. All of the melons that I seen before July were seedless watermelons. You know, seedless watermelons is okay to eat, but I personally prefer seeded watermelons. This one is really too large for my particular needs, but it was the only seeded one, so I definitely grabbed it. Now, I mean, so, you know, when you have a big one like this, it may be on sale, what have you, you can always share it with family and friends. Or if necessary, you could feed it to the wild animals. So the wild animals going to get to eat these rinds. We in the backyard. I throw it out there. This morning I seen the groundhog eating the old potatoes that I threw out there. But you could discard your fruits and vegetables out there. Some stuff they don't like eating, like orange peelings and lemon peelings. But stuff like apple cores, banana skins, pear cores and things of that nature there, they absolutely love that stuff. So look out for Mother Nature, and Mother Nature look out for you. We're going to store the stuff in a typical Ziploc container. I'm not sure how many we're going to need with all this melon. I think we're going to wrap some of that up and give it away to charity. We have some different freezer bags that my wife used. We have the 1 gallon freezer bags. These is real good. So we're going to put some of that melon in here, put it in the freezer. You could always throw it in a blender. We have a blender here, a Black & Decker. We also got a Magic Bullet, you know, smoothie maker. So you can always throw frozen fruits in there. So I always put strawberries and blueberries and dragon fruit, what have you, inside the freezer. And it slows down the use, but it gives it a longer shelf life. And frozen fruit is good in an emergency. It's not really necessary to use gloves in this process, but I'm gonna use gloves today not just for hygienic purposes, but I'm gonna wash the gloves before I use the gloves. So when I put them on, I'm gonna rinse my hands off first, and make sure we clean up real good, because you don't want watermelon juice around your sink and kitchen, because it's going to attract the ants. We prepped the melons nice and clean now, free of pesticides on the outside at least. But so now we're going to cut off these edges. You basically want to cut off the edge where you can stand the watermelon upright. Okay, so we cut off the edges. You see the watermelon is standing upright. All the juices is flowing. You see those black seeds and the white seeds in there. Now this little rind, we're not going to use this part, so I'm just going to dice this up real quick and throw this out to the wild animals. Get them a little treat, so the birds and squirrels and groundhogs and ants and things of that nature could come get some of this food too. Always share. Okay, so we cut this up. I'm throw this outside on the, it's not going to go down in the grass, and technically I should. Technically my wife wouldn't approve of these big chunks like this. She liked me to cut the stuff smaller for the animals, but the animals understand I got other stuff to do. I'm outside in my backyard. As you can see, we got woods everywhere. We got a big yard. So we got a little creek over here. I don't know if you can see it back there, but a dead tree fell and it natural turns to natural compost. And back here is where a lot of wild animals live. From back there, that's where we got deer and foxes and squirrels and groundhogs or what have you, beavers, so forth. They like the rabbits and stuff like that. They'll come out and eat this. I could just throw it in the grass, but I don't like throwing it in the lawn because it makes the house look junky. But I throw it out in the bushes where they can go ahead and get to it in privacy and feel more safe. But I'm gonna throw some of it out here on the lawn intentionally. That's gonna be for the ravens and different birds that always come down and eat. I feed them like at least 5 times a week, you know what I mean? So they'll come down from out inside those trees and nest up there, and they'll come get them some fresh fruit. All right, so I'm gonna just throw this out here for now. This little bit right here, we got a lot of melon rind. So what I'm gonna do is, since I know where they be at, I'm gonna go back here. This is where the groundhogs and all them live. They live back here. So I'm gonna just toss this back here. They're gonna smell it and they'll come get that. They ain't gonna get it right now because they hear it hit the ground and they can tell I'm here, and they don't be like around humans and all that. But when we give them a little privacy, they'll ease their way to it, smell it, check it out, take a little taste, and then eventually grub on it. You can see the water back there. In fact, I see a groundhog back there now. Let me get out here and give them a little privacy and finish this melon. There's no one way to cut or quarter a melon, but I prefer to quarter it. I'm gonna cut it the long way and make 4 big wedges, and then dice those small wedges. Hold on. The key is to make sure your knives are sharp. So we then cut it in half. So I got 50% of the melon split now. Okay, so we got half that melon. When I look inside this melon, this seeded melon, got a little sliver here. Let me taste this. It's definitely juicy. Definitely glad that I let it sit. Definitely be better cold once you put it in the refrigerator overnight. One of the things I noticed is, if you look at this, it's seeded, but you notice it's 50% seeds here, and out of the seed side, it's about 50% without seeds, and on the right side there is literally not one seed. I mean, that tells me that even though the seeded watermelons, they losing the seeds. When I was a child, my mother used to give us a piece of watermelon. Me and my little sisters go in the backyard with some newspaper, and we'd be grinding on some watermelon. And it's like it was seeds everywhere. I don't even see the white seeds. I just see the black seeds, which tells me that this melon, even though it's seeded, is still some type of hybrid. The texture of it is okay. The flavor is On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it, I'd say about a 7. You know what I mean? But this shows the importance of organic fruits and vegetables and growing them yourself and trying to get real seeds and clean natural soil. So we quartered that half. We cut that half of a half. So we got 25%, 25% or 50% of the melon sliced. I took and got the smaller serrated knife for this. I could have did it with the regular larger knife, but it's easier to handle and cut with the smaller serrated knife. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this inside this container real quick. As I said, you can cut it the way you want. You can use a scooper and make balls of watermelon. You can dice it. You can slice it thin. You can make wedges. My wife prefers smaller pieces, so I'm gonna take a piece like this. It's about 1 inch in thickness and maybe like 4 or 5 inches in length. And I'm gonna just dice that up, make it easy for her. Me personally, I'm old school, sloppy. Even I don't do it no more, but I would just simply take a half of a quarter and just eat mine straight out the rind. Now, I mean, you know, old school. I mean, but whatever is your preference, you could go to like your local supermarket. They'll have chunk pineapples and watermelons and stuff inside containers, but you can do it yourself at home. All right, so watermelon is delicate, so you don't want it sitting around at room temperature. You want to get it in the refrigerator as soon as practical. So I'm gonna hurry up and just dice this thing up, wrap it up, get it in the refrigerator, get it in the freezer, and we'll be able to take and share the extra and get these rinds diced up for the wild animals. I ain't gonna say wild animals because we wild people. For the natural animals. Peace. And when it comes to cutting the watermelon, I just basically, a lot of people go closer to the white rind, and some people even blend that part and eat it. I don't. I prefer just the plain melon. But it's safe to eat the rind as well as the seeds. When you cut the flesh from the rind, you want to make sure you just get up underneath it so that when you lift it, you can hear it snap and it comes right off. Okay, so we got half the melon, and half of it is more than enough for just me and my wife. So we're going to give some to my mother-in-law and sister-in-law. So even with them, we still gonna have this extra melon. So what I'm gonna do is take some of this and put it inside of a 1-gallon freezer bag and store that in the freezer. And you could just take it out the freezer, let it thaw out for like 10 minutes, and it'll be nice and cold and fresh when you eat it. And you can leave it in there for like a month. Or you could just throw it in the blender and drink it with a smoothie or add some ice cold watermelon juice. Okay, so we got a Mother Nature's kilo of natural drugs, pure watermelon, the kind of drugs that helps the body and not kills the body. All right, so we got this. I'm gonna just throw this in the freezer. We have a old freezer in the garage, so that's where I store all my stuff at. So I'm gonna take that out to the garage and store it. Okay, this is the extra freezer. I'm gonna put this in. So I just put all that inside the freezer in the garage. Now we're gonna go ahead and dice up the rest of that melon. Speaking of seeds, my wife got a little plaque on the door in the mudroom that says, "Scatter seeds of kindness wherever you go." Mother Nature, the universe, mathematics, cause and effect. Islam always brings it back. Okay, so you're gonna throw these grinds out to the animals so that they got something to eat, and then we're just gonna finish up the last half of this melon. Now, instead of throwing them in the bushes, these is gonna go out in the grass so that the birds and the ravens will basically come get these. Okay, so we threw all the marines out there, so they out there in the grass now. They can come fly down and get some of them probably in a couple of hours. Okay, so we got 50% of the project done. We on part 75% now. I'm going to be using these little short fresh. These is real cheap little containers. We always rinse them off before we use them. So I'm gonna wash these, rinse these real quick. And we basically just gonna put some watermelon. This one came, they only cost like, I got these from Dollar Tree, and my wife got these from Dollar Tree. They only $1.25. They give you 3 instead of 2, so 3 of these containers for $1.25. It's convenient for if you have family or friends or company or something. You can always use little containers, and they could take stuff with them. And you know, they only $1.25, so we don't want nobody to return them. They could take and reuse them, dispose of them, whatever. For convenience sake, I'm gonna put the pineapples inside the large container and just take the large container and dump it into the small one, put the lids on them, put them in the refrigerator, and we go drop them off. Yeah, when you dice your watermelon, depending who it's for, if you're dicing watermelon for a baby or a child or an elder, you want to make the pieces real fine, real diced up, real small. Now, I mean, you don't want them choking on it or having to have difficulty swallowing. So these is real small, and you can make them as thick as you want. If it's somebody greedy like me, you could just give them a whole chunk wrapped up in plastic. You could just go ahead and slice that nice and thick, 1, 2 inches, 3 inches thick, whatever. So we mixed it up. We got 2 small sliced ones, and we got 1 chunk. Okay, so we got that done. We got all 3 of those sealed and stacked, and they're going to go in the refrigerator, keep them nice and cold and crisp and fresh until we drop them off. So we made another big 5-gallon freezer bag, put that in the freezer, and we got some extra in this container. I'm putting in a refrigerator, and now we're just going to make big chunks out of these rinds and throw this out for the groundhogs and deer and clean this mess up. Okay, so we got that done. Throw this last piece out. Rinse this out real good. Instead of turning on a garbage disposal, take and put this in here to protect it, catch it, dump it in with the rest, man. No need to let garbage go down the garbage disposal if you can prevent it. Okay, so let me throw this out real quick, then we're gonna come back for a quick cleanup. Now, when it comes to the cleanup, I could put stuff in the dishwasher, but I don't. We might use this once every couple of years or something if we had a big family dinner or something. Other than that, we wash everything by hand. I prefer washing the stuff by hand. I want to keep basins. I just take and get something like this. She got a little basin thing. She just snaps open and all that. And because it was only fruit, you can wash it with just some normal dishwashing liquid and just clean this up real good. Me personally, I'm from the belly of the beast, so I don't play the germ stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I clean it with some regular bleach. You could use, you know, whatever brand you use. We can use dollar store bleach, or I prefer Clorox. It's more concentrated. The problem with Clorox, if you use Clorox cleaning up something, and then you have something like colored hand towels and dishcloths or whatever, what can happen is it'll bleach your dark stuff and stain them, which my wife gets pissed at me about. So what I do is I make sure I remove this stuff first, hang this up in the garage somewhere, clean this, make sure I rinse it real good, then I dry it with we got some regular paper towels, get some Bounty or whatever, dry it up real good, and then don't put nothing over there for at least 24 hours. And you come back the next day, 2 days, it's fine to use again. You don't have to worry about the bleach, but I like to make sure there's no bacteria and germs brewing on the countertops and things of that nature there. A lot of people use wooden cutting boards, but wood cutting boards holds the bacteria. I prefer to get something like this from we'll get them from different places, different sizes. We even have disposable ones, but you can basically get something like this from like Walmart. You go to the Dollar Tree, you get a smaller one. We have a bunch of these things down here, parchment, papers, different boards. We even have disposable ones. But the thing is, the reason I like cheap stuff from the Dollar Tree, you can use something like this from Walmart or the Dollar Tree, and you can use it for like maybe a month to 6 months, and just simply throw it in the trash and get a new one. You know what I mean? So that's how we do that, instead of having a wooden board and using it for years and it's holding bacteria and germs and funguses on it. This is Microban 24-hour. It kills 99.9% of bacteria, including the coronavirus, RSV, herpes. It cleans everything. So I would not recommend you use this unless you really need it. It's real good for cleaning germs on hard surfaces like this, but you don't want to spray it around children. You don't want to breathe it in. Make sure you put a face mask on. You have pets in the house or things of that nature there. I'm not going to use this because we didn't do anything but use some watermelon in here, and we cleaned everything real good. But this is something that you may look into called Microban 24-hour.